Is Nuwaubianism factual? Is Christianity factual? I want to start off with a quote by Malachi Z, the founder of Nuwaubianism. He says, "You must do research, then and only then will you not be fooled by fools." That's from the Holy Tabernacle Family Guide. So as we ask which one is more factual, Nuwaubu or biblical Christianity, we're going to find out what Nuwaubu is from KHONSU. He says it's a science of sound right reasoning, which is 3 degrees: right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding. Well, we'll get back into that, but first let's find out who the founder is of this religion and the stages that it's went through. 60s through the 90s, it was essentially Islam. You could be more specific and say the Sufi Sudanese sect of Islam with some alterations there in Bushwick. And then you had elements of Christianity sprinkled throughout. It got stronger at the end. And then you, of course, also had elements of Judaism, especially from 1990 to 1992, when he's calling himself a rabbi. And then, as my friend Chuck Morgan likes to call it, Sumerisms. He's studying the language. He talks about those elements where it got into the Sumerian gods and legends from the period on the screen. And then Egyptism, spelled with the I, that's how they spell it, from 97 to 2004. And, of course, culminates with Tamaray down there in Georgia. But who is Dwight York that led these folks through all these different iterations of one single religion that is now called Nuwaubu? Well, he has a lot of titles: Master Teacher, the Grand Al Mufti Divine, Imperial Grand Potentate of Worldwide Shrine, Reverend Dr. Malachi Z. York L., 33rd, 720, 1945 AD, still living. As al-Hadi al-Mahdi, head of the Imperial Royal Council of the 9 IRCFN, Ansarallah of the International Supreme Council of Arab Shrine, Inc., a Liberian diplomat. Those are some of his titles. What about his names? We got Pops, we got Yanuan, we got, and that's an incarnate being from the 19th galaxy, by the way, a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, Marduk, grandson of Amnu, Umar Utu, Michael the Archangel, Melchizedek, Anunnaki, spiritual son of Enki, Malachi Z. York, or Malachi, sometimes people say it, Amunabi, and, that should be two, those shows should be together, Amunabi Rokaba. So now we know who he is. We'll find out if it's true or not, the things that he taught. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. When y'all hear that, that means your time is up. All right, KHONSU, let's get it, my brother. Let's get it. Get your time up there and let's go in. Time will start when you start. I can't hear you, brother.
I'm going to share my screen for my intro, please.
Okay. Let's get it. Let's go. I see your screen.
Weak point that Chuck Morgan tries to bring here. I will rebut him point for point. We can do this all night. We can go to the sunrise and SaNeter. You know I got the information, but that's why he didn't run it. But I'm bad. So one of his contestations, Jabari said that the Nuwaubian language is not related to ancient Egyptian. We agreed on this on SaNeter. I challenged him to a debate. He ran. No matter what I challenge him on, he will find a way to make an excuse not to debate me because he fears my intellect. Somebody on the land, yo, somebody being molested. You didn't do nothing to your people. Why didn't you tell somebody when your friend told you that he was being molested? Why did you let that go on, Mark? If you say you seen this and you know this and you did all this, you was around and seen all this.
Is that a real question?
That is a real question.
Your premise is I saw something and didn't say nothing, right?
That's what you said, yeah.
Yeah, your premise is that I should have and that it's fucked up that I didn't. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
I would agree that it's fucked up that I didn't.
He said Zulu don't believe in God. He said Shaka Zulu didn't believe in God. Very quick rebuttal. English to Zulu meaning of God. The word is Unkulunkulu.
Unkulunkulu.
God. Now I have a question for the brother Garfield. How can you come and now and be in defense of the Bible when at one point in time you was against the Bible? Are you switching up? Are you a Christian now? Or what's going on, brother?
Hey, peace and love, family. I have no answer to that.
Mark Lamont Hill, no matter how much you want to try to tarnish the character of Dr. Malachi York and other black leaders, you will never be able to destroy his legacy because his works will live on forever. You will never be able to deter people from reading his books. You will never be able to deter people from supporting his movement. That will never happen, brother. You know that and I know that.
I hate to brag, but real talk, I'm nothing nice. Highly anticipated, like the second coming of Christ.
And that's my intro. Nothing else needs to be said right now. Let's get it.
All right, so vocab, the time will start when you start. Let's get the first 10 minutes in. We're going to do 3 rounds of 10 minutes. And remember, there's going to be a cross-examination. As I say, a hot seat. 10 minutes of that hot seat. So let's go. I see your slide.
One other question real quick is the link for people to still jump on and buy a ticket? They can still do it. Is it still available?
Yes, if they go to my channel, they got to go to HOK and they'll see the link inside of my description.
Okay. Well, does everybody, do they all know that and stuff? I'm just trying to make sure everybody that wants to come in.
Yeah, they should know that by now. Come on. Okay. I've been doing this for a long time.
All right. The first thing I want to do is play a brief video clip.
Time start.
Do you see the video clip? It's not the thing on the screen. It's something different.
Right. As soon as you start your presentation, it starts.
But do you see the video clip?
No. What I see is I see your stuff.
Yeah, I got my slides, but I also have separately.
No, I don't see no video clip.
No. Okay. Well, maybe it'll upload later. We'll just start with the slides then, I guess, if that's what's going on. All right. Okay, I'm ready if you're ready.
All right, go ahead and start.
All right. So we continue on this question about which is more factual, Christianity, biblical Christianity, or Nuwaubu, as Brother KHONSU calls it. Well, we do have to start with the founder, the person who says he received the revelation, Dwight York, and let's find out who he is and why he has authority to say what he said. Here's a quote from Man from Planet Rizq. I, Yanuwan, have come to save the children of the Elohim, Anunnaki, from being killed as you bring your planet near to what could be translated into English as incarnation, but more accurately as appearance or manifestation. So he says that he is manifestations of different beings, specifically Yanuwan. Now, people really believe this. In fact, if you go on Instagram, there's even people who sell jewelry. You know, some people get a Jesus piece. These people sell York pieces. Here's one for $90. It's at the All Eyes on Egypt bookstore in Brooklyn. The Yanuwan necklace is still $90. Get it while you can. Wonder if KHONSU's got his yet. I want to ask KHONSU, is it factual York is an appearance of Yanuwan? Now, the way KHONSU says we gauge factual information is through these 3 things. Now, he gets this, of course, from York. So he's repeating him there. Evidence, experience, and reason. And the source of this lecture from KHONSU is Universal Yoruba Nation TV, uploaded 5/9/21. Evidence, experience, reason. Does KHONSU have evidence, experience, or reason that York is an appearance of an extraterrestrial? Let's find out. He really did say that. This is from Holy Tablets, chapter 19. Quote, Yanuwan is the galactical name of the 19th elder, known to you as Michael, the warring angel. Marduk in Babylonian and Merduk in ancient Sumerian, Amunabi Rukafa or Ra'atum in Alkam, Egypt, who came in the great planet ship Neberu, which is a self-sustained, self-supporting craft. And in other contexts, York claimed to be one of the pilots of this ship. I am one of the teachers. I was not chosen, but am seeded entity. I'm a seeded entity and planted here to try to raise your consciousness so that when the mothership or crystal city that comes from Nibiru, when it returns, you will be ready. KHONSU, do you have evidence, experience, or reason that any of that is true? What about this quote from Planet Rizq? I have this just so people can see that he is claiming to be this person. In this Q&A, They ask him, you stated that the sole purpose is to save the children of the Anunnaki on this planet. Could you explain your assignment further? And they refer to him as Yanuan, the extraterrestrial being there. And he says, first, you would just call me Doc or Dr. York. By the way, he didn't have a real PhD, and he handed out PhDs like candy to anyone who helped edit his books. So you see here that he is identifying himself in a very explicit way, and his followers were aware of that. KHONSU, do you have evidence, experience, or reason that York is an appearance of this extraterrestrial? Matter of fact, do you even have evidence, experience, or reason that this extraterrestrial even exists? You should, because you know what he told you to do, guys? He said, look into what I am teaching, check it out. See if it's the facts. That's a quote. Let's see if it's the facts. Let's find out if it's factual about York's 2000 prophecies. Watch these. He put out a number of books, one called The Year 2000, one called The Millennium Book, and the covers are just wild. And there's another one, Leviathan, that contain these false prophecies. Let me give you the summary, then I'm going to give you the quotes. He basically teaches spaceships will pick up the 144,000, those who have not taken part of the delicacies of the harlot, to avoid the collapse of society. The Nabaru or Nibiru is too large, so it's going to send out smaller craft called shams to pick up the 144,000. And when this didn't happen, what he said is the Gregorian calendar was wrong, and this whole prophecy was done to shake unneeded leaves off the trees. That was his excuse. Now, let me show you a quote. Does God help his own? Scroll 99, page 112. So stop believing your popes, preachers, imams, rabbis, etc., etc., etc. For the ship will come. That's real. It's called Nibiru. A fleet of Elohim will be passing through Earth's atmosphere in or around the year 2000, coming out of the mothership called the Crystal City to reclaim their children, which are the 144,000. KHONSU, do you have evidence, experience, or reason that any of that happened? Do you know if there was a fleet of Elohim passing around Earth around that time? Even if they didn't come get you guys, wouldn't you be able to know that? Well, here he says it again. Same thing, except this time he's going to update it. He's got the specific date there, May 5th, 2000. May 5th, 2000. This is a wild thing to read. I wish I had time to read it. Take a screenshot. The source is right there, highlighted, and you can see the page numbers. Calls it the end of the world. So why did York's year 2000 prophecy fail? Here's his reason that he gave. I try to raise your consciousness so when the ship returns in the lunar logging of the 12th point in August in the year 2003 of the Gregorian calendar, when the gate of the great vortex will reopen, this planet called Earth positions itself on the location of revolution of the planets, and they are all in line as a lunar logging of the 5th point in May. In the year 2000 of the Gregorian calendar, you will be ready. So what he said is, we got to readjust it according to the Gregorian calendar, because the first time, the times and seasons have been played with, and so that was the problem. My question is, why didn't he just give the prophecy in the Gregorian calendar originally instead of upping it to August 2003? Now look at this excuse. He says alien beings stopped it here in the Nuwaubian calendar book. Scroll 200, page 16. Quote, beings from Aldebaran worked along with the Pleiadians, Procyon, reptilians, and some species of greys in order to stop the Nibiru from coming by slowing the process of the comet Hale-Bopp. It altered time. The end of the world has already been delayed 30 years as a period of grace. If it takes another 30 years, the Luciferians will have more time to figure out a way to stop this, and by adhering to the other corrupted calendars, you are being blind to the natural or true time. So now it's pushed back 30 years. Wow. Look at this. This is from the tablets. He says the explosion of sound travels at the speed, and it gives these dimensions, and this says this here, it's on the right side of the screen. The time when it positions itself in the location of revolutions, Earth's in a lunar logging of 1982 in the Gregorian calendar, in the year 1983 from the Gregorian calendar. When the alignments of the great vortex will open again in the lunar logging of the year 1993 in the Gregorian calendar, and then in 2003 AD, when Nibiru will arrive for the 144,000, it will depart in 2030 AD of the great vortex, and it will open in 2043 AD, and we, the Anunnaki, will depart forever. Now, did any of this happen? Now, he's saying this other stuff's going to happen. He's going to be dead by then. So this is what these guys always do. They always put the prophecies out of reach when they recalibrate them. And that's exactly what he did there. So I'd like to ask KHONSU, are York's year 2000 prophecies factual? Doesn't seem like it at all. What about this, KHONSU? Is it factual that York knew 19 languages? You quoted that in that lecture right there. You said that. Now, how do you know that? FreeDrYork.com
You got to turn on your camera. Cameras stay on.
says Dr. Malachi Kobina York speaking 19 different languages. He's taught as an imam, a rabbi, and a reverend, and also published translations of the Holy Quran from Arabic to English, the Book of Revelations from Greek to English, and the Torah from Hebrew to English. Okay. Here's one of his translations. He took Genesis 6 and made it all about aliens and even put cartoon images to go along with his retranslation. But we have no evidence he knew Hebrew. What's the evidence he knew Hebrew? Because whenever I've heard him talk about Hebrew Arabic, I pick up basic errors. So if it's true he can speak 19 languages, what's the evidence? Does KHONSU know the list of 19? And are there recordings of him translating or speaking in 19 different languages? Even if you're going to say his English translations are proof, that's only going to give you Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic, and whatnot. It's not going to give you these other. What are the other languages he knew? Does anyone know? If you're going to repeat it, it seems like you should know. But you know what the truth is? The truth is, according to eyewitnesses who were there, York's chauffeur, who worked in the book department, Ginger Chang, simply used Logos Bible software for the Greek transliteration. So that she would put the Greek transliteration in there, and then York would just add his commentary to the Greek transliteration Chang provided from Logos. Now, I have Logos. I love it. But I don't go around claiming to be an expert in 19 different languages because I know how to use Logos, and I certainly don't have a chauffeur who's running it for me while I add my translations.
30 seconds.
So is it really factual that York knew 19 different languages? The answer seems clearly no. Is it factual, KHONSU, that Pickle Man is real based on evidence, experience, and reason? York drew a picture. That's not the picture. That's a satire, or had a picture drawn rather in one of his books that you can see right there of Pickle Man. Let me give you a close up. He has a utility belt and everything. Figure 74 next to the Predator and Gill Man from the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and says they're all real. This is in the book, Is God an Extraterrestrial? So I would like to ask you, is it factual that Pickle Man is a historical figure, KHONSU? Pickle Man real?
You can pick up from where you left off, keep it there. And powerful opening by Vocab Malone. KHONSU, cameras are supposed to stay on because we want to make sure the debater is there paying attention. It is disrespectful to turn off while the brother is speaking. Same way with you, Vocab. Cameras are to remain on. KHONSU, the time will start when you're ready, brother. Unmute yourself.
My bad. I'm ready. Let me share my screen.
All right, I'm going to start when your screen is up. Let me remove this screen here. And where's your screen? All right, I see it. And I see the video up too now, Vocab, but maybe you could get it in on the next round. All right. There's your screen is up.
All right. So can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear. I can hear you.
All right, right. Peace to the family, peace to the family, peace to the panel, peace to the House of Conscience. Big up to everybody in the audience.
Time stop.
Let me also say, y'all can follow me at Brother KHONSU exclamation point on YouTube, and KHONSU Amun Ray on Facebook and Instagram. So we ain't gonna waste too much time. We're gonna get straight into it because that's how we like to do it. So basic, simple, which is more factual, Nuwaubu or Christianity? So what I did here, I took a small little basic classification, similarities rather. And the topic of the debate is what's actually going to kill Brother Vocab, because I knew he was going to come with the extraterrestrial thing. Like I say, I'm well seasoned in this. I've been through this before with the top dog. People, I'm surprised he don't have Chuck Morgan helping him behind the scenes, because I knew he was going to bring up his name and I knew he was going to be there, but he was afraid to debate me too. The extraterrestrial thing is something that it's the number one thing. So we're going to get to that too. Now, but let's deal with just some basic similarities, right? Nuwaubu claims to be 17,250,000 years old, whereas any Christian biblical scholar will tell you Christianity is around 2,000 years old. The reason Nuwaubu is said to be that old is because Nuwaubu is not a religion. It's the origin of the spiritual science that grew and created the universe. So we're talking about animism. I don't know if Vocab Malone knows what animism is. He might want to Google that term, because we're going to show where Malachi York says that Nuwaubu is animism. And we're going to show where the top scholars in the world are saying that animism is the world's oldest religion. So he's killing himself anyway. Why is he killing himself? Why is he daggering himself like this? Simply because no Christian or biblical scholar ever in history has claimed that the religion of Christianity is factually based. Not one. There has never been a Christian scholar. In fact, we're going to show the top Christian scholars admitting that it is false and not based on facts, which automatically crushes everything Vocab Malone is saying. Because he hasn't presented any information in his first slide about the factual basis of Christianity. All he's talking about is extraterrestrials. So is this debate about extraterrestrials, or is this debate about the factual basis between Nuwaubu and Christianity? Light work. This is light work. Very light work for Brother KHONSU. Nuwaubu, not classified as a religion. Christianity, a faith-based religion. What do they say, Brother SaNeter and the audience? You got to what? Believe. You got to have faith. And if you don't, you go into hell. And you can't ask questions. No. Don't question God. Fear God. It's a fear-based religion. It's a slave-based religion. It's a conqueror religion. We're going to get into the real deal behind what this brother, or this guy, because he's not our brother, what this guy is doing. Oh, it's about to get deep. Scientifically and historically based. We're going to show that. Christianity, mythologically based. Nuwaubu, ancient spiritual texts predate the Bible. We're going to show how the Bible was copied from those texts. Nuwaubu teaches to research, investigate, and analyze. Christianity teaches blind faith. Nuwaubu was not created by man. It doesn't say that. The Bible was. All life comes from the hydrogen atom. That's what Nuwaubu teaches. Christianity teaches all life comes from Adam and Eve, and specifically Eve comes from Adam's rib. So which one sounds more crazy? The United States Space Force, the United States government admitting that extraterrestrials exist now and saying that they have found non-human biological entities, or saying that all life comes from the rib of a man, that the rib of a man was taken out, created a woman, and then they created the world. It's more people now that accept the existence of life on other planets and extraterrestrials than they do the Bible. So let me go to my next slide, because this is about to be a bloodbath. Now, let me show this too, real quick. U.S. recovered NPR news. This is all over the big news. This ain't no small news platform. July 27th, 2023. U.S. recovered non-human biologics from UFO crash sites, former Intel officials say. And it goes into the whole shebang. Retired Major David Grush, who went from being part of the Pentagon's task force to becoming a whistleblower. He blew the whistle. It's all out there. Let's go to this one. This is the United States Space Force website. Their mission? What is their mission? To inhabit outer space, because they know it's been inhabited before. So that's just something brief to show, to kind of whatever Dr. York's interpretations may have been, doesn't necessarily mean that it's all based on experience, evidence, or reason. And this is why. This is the key that, brother, is really going to kill Vocab Malone. I know he never heard this one. Well, this is the certificate. Let me show this why it's up. This is the certificate of Dr. York's University of Khartoum degree. which is stamped and certified. You can find this on public record, November 5th, 1983. University of Khartoum, Bachelor of Arts in Arabic and History, 3rd Division. The first day. So, I mean, this is, like I say, this is easy, light work. But let's show something. Let's show something even more powerful than that. Let's show what Dr. York said himself about the whole extraterrestrial thing. Let's show that. Let's show that real quick.
Let me know if y'all need me to stop your time as well.
Yeah, stop mine for 2 seconds. It won't take but 2 seconds, but maybe a minute or two. Here you go, right here. Hold on. I just had it up. Let me go to saved. Okay. Okay, hold on. Shit, just had it up. Saved. Hold on. Oh, I'm tripping right here. I gotta go to my own videos. Yeah, because what this is gonna do is what people fail to understand or overstand is that Malachi York taught his own classes, personal classes, right, on his land, where people from all over the world could just come and ask him questions in public. So Vocab Malone, unfortunately, he wasn't around back then. You know, we a little younger than that, but he actually opened himself up to this thing that we call debates. He actually was one of the founding fathers of debates. You know, I mean, when you really get into it, we got live debates with Dr. York versus all kind of scholars from the 70s and 80s. He allowed people to come into the Hall of Knowledge in New York and ask him questions. People of all different backgrounds, people of all different religious backgrounds, all different, you know, nationalities, I'm sure. And it was never a thing where he was the type of person to run and hide from stuff. So to see this brother pull up on the brothers in New York kind of ticked me off. But see, not everyone is as sharp as others. So right now you're dealing with the #1 top dog of this whole thing. So let me just find this clip real quick because this is very important. I already had it up. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. See y'all. Okay. I got like a zillion uploads. I thought I already had it ready, but here it is right here. Okay, give me 2 seconds. How much time I got, Sal?
You have 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Got you.
I stopped the clock. You got 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
All right, it's right here. I'm sorry. Got too many videos. Right here. Getting close here. Getting close. Almost there. This was also, I also want to show where Marlon Monhill said Dr. York couldn't speak Arabic, and we showed it. I got the clip of that too. He said he was gonna pay $10,000 for that. So sorry, you gotta hook that up. Call up Mark. All right, you can share my screen now. Hold on. Mark said he got 10 bands on it. And I got it. I posted it. It's been on my Facebook. All right, let me share my screen. And the reason this is vital, I know Vocab Malone ain't never seen this. He's never seen this in his life. He only showed the same old crappy crap that Chuck Morgan from Chuck Morgan website. Vocab Malone ain't never seen this video of Dr. York saying it. Listen clear now. This is a post I made in 2021. It says, Dr. York made it clear to his students that they should not be religious, nor should they view him as a religious man. In fact, he even made it clear that his students should not accept or believe anything, including things he teaches. Why? Because he's a man. Some of the things he say just may be from his gut feeling. Some of the stuff he say just may be from his personal opinion. He ain't saying that all of his students have to believe every word that comes out of his mouth, but this is what these people like this guy here, who tries to defame all Nubian melanated African leaders. He goes to the Hebrew Israelites and tell them they not, you know, they because of their skin color and their ethnicity from Africa. He's really slick racist. But this is what he don't understand. It say, if they can't confirm it for themselves, this is what he said. Let's hear what he said, since he wanted to talk about what he said. This is what he said right here.
Of belief and fact on what you have experienced. Now, if you have never seen a flying saucer, don't believe anybody who says they have, including me.
He said, if you have never seen a flying saucer, don't believe anybody that says they have, including me. This is Nuwapo here.
Until you have the experience.
Until you have the experience.
Now you say, well, Pop, I love you, I want to trust you. Thank you. But don't bet on it. Only on the things I confirm for you.
Only on the things I confirm for you, or that which you can confirm for yourself, because that's what Nuwapu teaches. He never heard this.
Now you may say, well, man, since 1970, you've been teaching us and predicting events, and all of them happen. So more than likely, the next thing you say is going to happen. Fine. That's your own conviction. I am not going to tell you to believe in flying saucers if you haven't seen it.
Period. So that whole extraterrestrial crap goes out the window. All Nuwaubians are not extraterrestrial freaks and extraterrestrial believers and none of that. Right? What is Nuwapo? This is from study 1 through 27. What exactly is Nuwapo? Because this is the key. Because he ain't presented nothing about what Christianity is. All this fool talking about is extraterrestrials. What is Christianity? Tell me. Look at this. These studies will open your eyes to who he is in his Bible.
Right. Time.
We'll say that for part 2.
Brother KHONSU, please refrain from this name calling, brother.
Gotcha.
You called him a fool. Let's refrain from that. The man is not calling you any names. He's dealing with information. All right, Vocab, the time will start when you start, brother. I didn't want to interrupt you while you was going, so I waited till you was over. You know, KHONSU? Both of y'all doing great, man. I love it. Let's get it in.
All right, first, if I could play this clip first.
You want this one up right here?
You see the video that's black and white? It's a black and white.
It's trillion years of information. He can't.
Yes, that's the one you want.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Leave it up, and then we're going to put that PDF you just had. Okay. So everyone, I want to ask a question. If all right, if it's true about who York claimed to be, why would he even need to go to the university in Sudan? First of all, because he claimed to have 76 trillion years worth of knowledge. Number one. Number two, he claimed to be the wisest man on earth. Listen to this clip where he claims to have 76 trillion years worth of knowledge.
I got 76 trillion years of information. He can't prove it. Everything I say, I prove. That's what makes me different. They talk about stuff they can't prove. No doubt.
I got 76 trillion years of information. I got 76 trillion years of information.
So why does he need to go to the university if he's got 76 trillion years of information, first of all? Second of all, if you could bring up the one that says York NE, that's what I want to please put on there. And I just want to show that KHONSU's one clip is not really going to help anything. And I do want to say it proves that I am a better prophet than York, because York claims that in 2000, these beings were going to come back and rescue people in spaceships. That didn't happen. But I did predict in our session 2 days ago that KHONSU was going to throw York under the building once I started tightening the screws on him. And he just threw him under the building. because he says, I don't have to believe everything he teaches. That's just his opinion. And yet he's got 76 trillion years worth of information. And then he says, oh, we don't have faith. We teach against faith. It is true in the New Covenant video that York said faith is ignorance, right knowledge is to know. But then he contradicted himself in the Holy Tablets. And he said, you must have faith in Anu. Look how many times he mentions faith in chapter 10, tablet 39, section 14 through 38. That's not the only time. Look at Factual versus theology. This is an audio from 96. The words of truth, and then he says a bunch of gibberish. We have faith in the all. That's what he says. And then in Man from Planet Riz, he says, these truths I have told and will release you from fears of the devils and renew your faith in the Elohim. And then he says, facts become faith and power. If you ain't got no faith, let me tell you something about the people who say, Pop, you said we not supposed to believe. Be naive, right? You see that book, any book you read, you must believe it has something you want to learn before you open it. So you had to believe the black book had something you wanted to learn. You had to believe. And then he goes on and says you had faith. This is in his audio where he basically turns to Jesus, and you want to question me and I taught you 2002. Check that out on, Chuck Morgan's channel. And you know why I have to say Chuck Morgan? Because your followers, your fellow friends, followers of Dr. York, they took the audio off the internet. So guess what? The only place it exists is now on Chuck Morgan's site because you guys went and scrubbed it off the internet. Thank God that he wants the truth to be known. Thank God. And you know some other truth that needs to be known? During the period of discovery, they had to look into Dr. York's education. This is in the trial. And look what it says about educational and vocational schools. It basically says, this is a short version, you guys can all see it. He claimed to go to these places, but when we contacted them, they had no record that he ever went there. Not only that, the fake document that KHONSU showed earlier, the timelines mess up the chronology in other places what York says he did. When you study the chronology, you'll find out it doesn't make sense when that degree is supposed to be from. So even the fraud that someone in the community created, it messed up their chronology that he gave in other places. So it still makes him contradict himself. And if he's got 76 trillion years worth of knowledge and has all these degrees, I need to show that last slide. Sorry, can you bring that back one more time? Slide 7. My question is, why is he in prison right now? SaNeter, I don't know if you can show it again from the one I just had up. I need it back on the screen. But you saw it a second before it clicked off. I hope we can bring it back. It says he's making progress on a GED. So right now, York's in prison making progress on a GED. Now, that's good. I'm glad for him. Maybe he's bettering himself. I'm glad he's doing self-improvement in that way. Okay, that's good. But it shows he doesn't have these degrees. If you have terminal degrees, you don't go get GEDs in prison. SaNeter, I need to put a pause on my time because I got slides up and they're not coming up. I need you to bring them up. SaNeter. I'm gonna give him a call because I need these slides up and he's not there.
I'm here.
Yeah. Could you bring up the slide, the longer one?
Say he
No, not that video, not the video. The slide. Yeah, okay. And then after that, I'm gonna need the other one up. There, right there. This is where
his head.
Yeah, this is where he's getting love on his GED progress report from the. So look at it. This is in a Supermax in Florence, Colorado, where he is. He was hanging out with Ted Kaczynski, but now Kaczynski's gone, so I don't know. He's all alone. And by the way, that's partially a joke. I'm just saying Kaczynski was there as well. They're only allowed 1 hour, so he probably wasn't hanging out with anybody except for his hand. Now, if we could go to that other slide set, please. The other slides, it says slide 37, the one I was looking at earlier with Pickle Man. If you could bring that PDF up, please. So here's the thing. That KHONSU likes to do this. He acts like it's our fault for talking about the weird stuff that York taught. Well, look, if he's got 76 trillion years of knowledge and basically you guys have been following him for right knowledge this whole time, it's fair game for us to say this doesn't look real. And you can't just say it's an interpretation because he's talking about actual starcraft, physical things that exist. And if they don't exist, if you're going to throw them under the bus, you might as well go all the way and say, I no longer follow Dr. York. I'm no longer in it here in Nuwaubu. Come to Jesus because Pickle Man doesn't exist. He also taught the predator is real. So I'd like to ask KHONSU, is it factual that the predator creature is real? This is from Man from Planet Risk. He's got reptilians drawings in here, Shaggy's from Orion. When I met those guys in the UK, the Nuwaubians, all they wanted to talk about was Orion. And this is a real life experience I had just 2 months ago. And so they ask him about this, and is God an extraterrestrial? They ask him about Predator, and listen to his answer. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Some of them are not, and some of them are depictions of the future. Extraterrestrials like the Predator, who was copied from an actual being from the Andromeda galaxy, a spiral galaxy that looks like a grasshopper. So this man is saying Predator is real. KHONSU, is it factual that Predator is real? He's claiming it is. This is not an interpretation. He's claiming these are actual beings. Now, to be fair, I'm going to say it is true that Predator exists. It's just he looks a little bit different than you might think. But the Predator creature is real, because that is definitely a predator. Now, you're not supposed to accept something if you can't prove it. So why accept anything that you're taught? It can't be proved. For example, is it factual Jesus is a historical or mythical figure? What's the evidence, experience, and reason? You're taught two contradictory things about this, KHONSU. And this gets into the Christianity side of things. In The End of Racism, he says this: there's no historical facts anywhere that there was a man named Jesus 2,000 years ago. There's no facts. This is in audio. You can see it right there. Now, a few things are fascinating about that, and I'm going to show these slides at the end. Not only do you have early first century attestation from multiple eyewitnesses, multiple sources, multiple documents about what Jesus said and did. Forget about just him existing, about actually what he said and did. And there's a consistent record across the board. You also have non-Christian historians or playwrights, in some cases, satirists, critics, also recognizing that fact. Sometimes even government officials like Pliny the Younger. So you have inside the scripture, outside the scripture. Not only that, you have early Christian sources. So these are non-New Testament, but they're Christian sources who live within that time. We have loads and loads and loads of evidence. And yet he says this. It shows he just didn't know how to do history. I mean, I think that's pretty clear and pretty obvious by now. But here he goes and contradicts himself and says that the followers of Jesus were called Messiahites. Now, first of all, that's not true. They were never called Messiahites. Where's the factual information the followers of Jesus were ever called Messiahites or Mashiachins or something like that? This is in the book, Was Adam Black or White, page 51. So how can they be called Messiahites if Jesus didn't exist, KHONSU? Well, they weren't called that. It shows he doesn't know history or language, but it shows he contradicts himself. Look at this, the glory of Jesus the Messiah, scroll 115. The purpose of this scroll, blah, 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 is to show and prove that the statement made by Jesus of 2,000 years ago. Now, let's just stop there. How can Jesus make a statement 2,000 years ago if he didn't exist? I don't think York's got any quotes from the Predator or the creature from the Black Lagoon, but here he's interacting with statements from Jesus from 2,000 years ago. So he taught contradictory things, but it seems like there's more evidence that he taught Jesus did exist. I mean, look, this is from York's own art department. It literally says he's real. It looks like an old Christian rap album cover or something. So which one is it? Jesus is historical or mythical? Well, you get two different answers. This is an image of Judas supposedly on the cross instead of Yeshua. That's what the caption literally says. Now, here's the thing. How could Judas die in Jesus' place if Jesus never was going up there to die in the first place? By the way, he ripped that off from certain sects of Islam. But let me show you what York did teach. He taught that Jesus died on top of a pyramid at age 120 in Egypt. Look at this. This is from the Holy Tablets, source on the screen. This crucifixion at age 120 was the ascension of Yeshua to be met in the skies with a craft to where he is alive to this very day, awaiting his return. Hey, KHONSU, if he didn't exist, how can he be alive? Going down, Yeshua went to Egypt for the ritual of the opening of the mouth, reinstillment of eternal life. The four triangles of the pyramid form the cross when looked at, when viewing the pyramid from a position above it. He's saying it looks like a cross. And here's Jesus at age 120, Yeshua. That's supposed to be an image of him. Look at this. This is another place here in the tablets. Look at the red box here. the place in which the Kyrios, now that's Greek for Lord, of these two were crucified. This crucifixion at age 120 was the ascension of Yeshua, to be met in the skies with a craft, to where he is alive to this very day, waiting his return. The Great Pyramid at Giza, Egypt, is a sepulcher, which is a place and mount of the dead. It is written that Yeshua died on a, and it goes on to say cross. Continuing on with the next section, look at this. When the Romans and Jews and other Greeks teach that they put Yeshua, son of Mary, to death upon a cross, in actuality, they mean he died on top of a pyramid. Now look, if Jesus didn't live, he can't die on top of a pyramid. So which one is it, man? Is that my time?
That's your time.
Okay.
All right, we going into the second round of KHONSU. I love this debate right here. Powerful information, man. I love it. Let's go, KHONSU. Let me know when you're ready.
All right. Like I said, the title of this debate is which is more factual, right? This is not an extraterrestrial. If he wanted to have an extraterrestrial debate, huh?
This your time starting.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay.
If he wanted to have a debate on extraterrestrials, we could have did that. It's 2 rounds. And this brother who claims to be this Christian savior to the world, apologist, going all over and trying to lie and embarrass black people all over, ain't said, he hasn't produced anything from the Bible stating that it is a factual religion. There are no religions that claim to be factual. The debate is done. He lost already when he took the freaking debate. That's how ignorant he is. And I can call him ignorant. That's not nothing bad to say. Anyway, he hasn't produced anything because he can't. So first, let me share my screen and show what these top Bible scholars are showing, that the Bible is bullshit and ain't based on facts.
No profanity, brother.
Sorry. All he want to talk about is extraterrestrials. The president, the government of the United States of America.
To get your president. You need me to stop your time?
All right, here we go. Here we go right here.
All right, let's go. All right, there you go. It's up.
This is from Wikipedia Religions. The Bible is not a reliable historical source. Let's just get a brief analysis of this. The Bible is not a reliable historical source because it does not meet the standard criteria, listen now, of source reliability used by historians. So what he's trying to do is concentrate all Malachi York's teachings into extraterrestrial teachings. When if anybody who really knows Malachi York teachings know that really makes up a very small portion of his overall teachings. But the naysayers, put it like this, people in the 70s and 80s and 90s were saying this. Now, the evidence that they have now, the United States Space Force and these non-human biological entities that they found is just demolishing that. Nobody even questions that hardly no more, like they question the Bible. That's what he don't understand. But it says the Bible is not, as many believers assume, eyewitness testimony. Why? Because there's no evidence of the people existing in those texts. None of them. And we're going to hear from sources. Since you want to go to London, we're going to hear from BBC TV, sources from scholars over in London admitting that. It says reliable sources are generally based on authors who are eyewitnesses to an event or its primary source. Since any particular source may be fabricating their story, multiple independent sources are usually required for confidence. You got to have some backup. Establishing the lack of author biases, including religious motivations, is also necessary if a work is to be read at face value. The Bible satisfies none of these requirements. Based on historical and archaeological research, there are known historical inaccuracies in the Bible. The Bible is considered, what I said in the beginning, mythological by most historians. It's a story, it's not factual. You lose. Now let's go to this. This is from BBC.
Historical fact.
Do you see this video, Sa? Brother Sal, you see this?
Yes, brother. I see it. You should. If you could see it, then you know I could see it.
Gotcha. All right, here we go. This is scholars from London admitting what I'm saying right here. This is his own people allegedly saying that what I'm saying is true. They're admitting it's not factual. It's a fairy tale. He's here supposedly trying to say it's factual, but he hasn't proven it. He's talking about extraterrestrials. Come on, man. This weak. You weak. This is the weakest debate I've ever had in my life.
Is it fact? Is anything in there historical fact?
Very little, probably. I think one important thing to bear in mind.
Dr. Francesca Stravopoulou, biblical scholar from Exeter University. This is BBC right here, London, England.
Is that ancient writers had a very different understanding of what fact or fiction was from us today. It wasn't written to be a factual account of the past. I don't think that's the way in which these biblical writers
It wasn't written to be a factual account of the past. So why is he here today under the auspice, under the title, Christianity is more factual than the Bible? He ain't showed a shred of evidence, y'all. Zero. He's shown more of me. Thank you for the video. I like those slides. Send me those slides after the show. I'll send you a little tip. I like those. I'm going to use those. You made me look real good. And you promoted me and Malachi York real good. But you ain't done nothing to support Christianity, player, because you know you can't.
Understood the past. But as a historian of the Bible, I think there's very little that's factual.
King David?
No.
Moses?
No.
No. No. No. Look at that. No. This is sad. None of them. Now let's see what the Hindu brothers say. But I know last time we was on, he didn't like the Hindu source. He may be racist to Hindus. I don't know, but let's see what he says.
I agree with Francesca that there are many different genres in the Bible. There's obviously poetry in the Bible. There are proverbs, but
obviously by his dress, you can see that this is a Catholic priest.
There's also history. I mean, take for instance the sudden appearance and archaeological evidence of the rather crude dwellings of the Israelites superimposed on the rather sophisticated dwellings of the Canaanites.
Now, he's the bishop of Rochester. He's talking about the Canaanites. And see, here's the thing. What they try to do in the Bible, and this is what a lot of people don't realize. What they try to do in the Bible is they try to tie in what the original creators of this manuscript did, was try to tie in biblical mythology, but try to tie it in with something real. For instance, the Bible speaks about Egypt and pharaohs. We know the pharaohs was there. We know the pyramids, the Sphinx was there because it's evidence. Canaan, we know the Canaanites was real. So it'll tie itself in, just like the Hebrew Israelite, the Israelite. Ain't no such thing. They were the Hyksos dynasty. There was no such thing as the Hebrew people, Israelite people, none of that. They were the Hyksos or Hekakasut. So now that we know that, let's talk about what Nuwaubu is. Not what he's saying it is. But first, I'll do that last. This is Nuwaubu, authored by Dr. York. And let's see what it is, because he hasn't explained to, what if it's a person in the audience that don't know a lot about Christianity? They don't know if it's factual belief. He ain't proved nothing. He's slandered. It's a slander campaign. You could have did that on your own time. But don't worry, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. You better ask Brother Jabari about me. Oh, I had him crying. Oh, he was talking about getting my page shut down. What's your real name? Oh, yeah. So ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Now, what is Nuwaubu? Get Jabari on here. Papyrus number 6, Nuwaubu. Listen now, I ain't going to get into the rhetoric. Listen now. This is verse 3. We're going to start on verse 3. Nuwaubu is all comprehension. If you look up the root of the word, which I have shown in the ancient Meta, it's actually in the hieroglyphic dictionary, Wallace Budge. The word Nuwaubu is there. I've shown it many a times. The root is the word noob. And that root in Metanetta means all. Nub or Neb, all. Neb Tawid, all of the land. That's why he's saying here Nuwaubu is all comprehension, which is a word used a lot in the doctrine, the all, or the all expanding, or the omniverse. We don't believe that it's just one universe. We believe
1 minute.
We believe it's multiple universes, which is what we call omniverse. Thank you for the timestamp, brother. Now, Nuwaubu is all comprehension. It's not a religion. Listen now, it's not a religion. Let's go to 7. Nuwaubu is the science of science and the science in science. It predates dates and time. Nuwaubu is the science that always existed in and beyond time and space. It is the science, 11, it is the science of the original creative forces and the original forces of ether of African people in general. Nuwaubu is the science in which and with which the universe was grown. This is natural nature. In Yoruba, we call this Fa or Ifa. In Ghana, they call it Afa. In Benin, they call it Fa. And that root word can be found in Metanetta as Fa, which a lot of people will call the Akashic records. It is the source or the origin of from which all things came. It's not a religion. The problem is people get Malachi York as a person and his personal opinions sometimes, which are included in his teachings, and they think that we are bound by that, and that's not how it works. It's not how it works at all.
All right, Vocab. This is your last and final round. Let's get it. Then we got the cross-examination, the interrogation next. Vocab, time will start when you're ready.
You pulled up a video from the BBC with Dr. Francesca, and someone asked, is King David real? And she says no. Well, maybe Dr. Francesca doesn't know about the Mesha Stele, which literally mentions the house of David. I'm trying to let it settle in there on the camera. That's at the Louvre. I'm standing right next to the Mesha Stele there at the Louvre. There you can see it a little bit better. And there at the Louvre, you could go right up to it and you can actually see where it says House of David. Oh, man, it's not showing up on there.
Back it up.
Yeah, it's not going to show up on there. It's whited out on it. But nonetheless, that's me with the Mesha Stele that specifically mentions the House of David. Not only is David mentioned in the Mesha Stele, he's also mentioned in the Tel Dan Stele, discovered in 1993. And so my question is, why didn't Dr. Francesca, who apparently KHONSU is relying on for information, why didn't she know that it's historically verified about King David being a real person? And, you know, it's so sad because it's clear KHONSU didn't really prepare for this debate at all. He lets BBC panels akin to The View do his talking for him instead of actually just presenting his own stuff. And he didn't even realize when he got to the guy at the end, the Anglican guy, he was actually giving archaeological evidence of Israelites coming into Canaan. He talked about the change in archaeology with basic things like house structures, because it is a well-known fact that there was basically a degradation of quality because the Israelites were poorer and they had less. And so when they came in, basically the houses went down in their sort of sophistication. That's what he was talking about in that little clip. I caught it. So that wasn't evidence against the Bible. So it's just like, man, do you even know what you're playing? Do you even know what you're showing? That's why, you know, half his time he spent just complaining about what I was doing and trash talking about Jabari. I mean, come on, my goodness, guy. No wonder you're going to retire after this debate. Now, some people have asked me, why didn't you go ahead and talk about the charges and things like that? I'm going to show you why that was not a focus of my debate. There's an important reason why. And this is a brief clip, but I think it's very important to show. Do you see the clip there, SaNeter, that shows it shows York and it shows him briefly there, and he's in the situation where he's in the courtroom. Do you see that? I need to show that, SaNeter, if you could put that video on. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. It's a different one. I'm going to take that one off because we don't need that one anymore. Not the PDF. It shows him in his.
No, it's not up there. Let me stop your time.
I see it on my screen though. You don't see it.
Where at?
It's right there. No, not that. Not that one.
Say he molested.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to play this. This is a brief clip. This is the reason why I didn't focus too much on the charges and related to that. First of all, hypothetically, York could have spoke true things and been a crook or a criminal or something like that. It's really about his doctrine he taught. But secondly, these folks are so dedicated and devoted to him, it's clear it's a cult, that even if those charges were true, they still would not
turn on your camera.
Their opinion of them. Let me play this. It's a 20-second clip. Listen to this clip, everybody.
Let's say he molested 1,000 children. Factually. Okay. Genetic evidence and everything. Things that we don't deny. Scientifically, we say, wow, okay, true. If someone was to ask me, would you still worship him as your Most High, acknowledge him as your Most High God? I would have to.
Did you guys just hear that? Man. He said, if it could be proven, would I still acknowledge him as my Most High? And then he says, I would have to. So that's why it doesn't even make sense to talk about the charges, because these folks are so dedicated to worshiping him, according to the person in the clip just now, that any amount of evidence wouldn't matter. Now, if we could please show the PDF again, please. I'm going to show that PDF. Go back to the PDF there, please, SaNeter. Let me know when you got that part. You got the...
KHONSU, you can't do that. You got to wait until it's your turn, brother.
It's funny because I know what you're trying to show. I have the second book written by them.
Hold on, Vocab. I stop your time. The PDF is down. I don't see the PDF.
You don't see the PDF?
No, I see this.
You only see the clip? You don't see the...
No, I don't see the writing, none of that. I think you probably removed it.
Oh, maybe when I was trying to... Man, it's weird because it shows that it's still up here. Okay, it says that it's on... It's the one... It's up there right now. Okay, we'll go with that, okay?
No, I don't see it.
I just show you, that's it. Yeah, leave that one for now, and then I'm going to show another one later. Okay. So, he said we were only talking about aliens, but the fact is, I just asked him a historical question about, is it factual that Jesus died on top of a pyramid at age 120? According to York, he did. That's not just alien stuff. Now, he did say a craft came and picked him up, but he either died there or he didn't. It has to do with person and history. Another question related to the life of Jesus, because remember, this is about Christianity. So the question is, what did your teacher teach? He taught that Jesus lived in a biosphere on another planet. Do you have evidence, experience, or reason that that's true? That's a claim about science. He claimed Enoch was there with him. This is a quote from Man from Planet Risk, page 106. Whenever humans are brought to Risk, they are put in a biosphere like Enoch and Jesus, who is half human and half Rizkian. Because, York claimed to be the man from Planet Risk, and apparently Jesus was he was half. He was passing. It's funny. KHONSU's over here talking about, Vocab's never seen this. He's never seen that. Have you ever seen these quotes that your master teacher taught this insane stuff, and you're going to claim your religion's factual? He claims that Jesus and Enoch were there in a biosphere on planet Rizk. When I went to London and talked to these guys, one of the first things they brought up, they like to bring this up. They like to bring up, what about Enoch? Remember Enoch got caught up in the chariot, and Elijah did. He walked with God. He was no more. Remember Enoch? That was an alien abduction. This is the kind of stuff they talk about. So, he's acting like we're weird for talking about it. But when you go actually talk to these guys in real life, not just, on the internet, guess what they want to talk about from jump? Aliens in Egypt. So I'm just talking about what they actually talk about, KHONSU. Do you even fellowship with other Nuwaubians? It seems like you're into Yoruba, and that's not the same thing. So I want to know, did Jesus live in a biosphere on another planet? If so, what's your evidence? Because according to York, a weak doctrine with no proof, that won't help our people, but yet that's what you're following. I encourage people to read books by ex-members. They're very helpful. You got a number here. and they're on the screen. These are people who experienced this stuff firsthand, as well as helpful books by outsiders who criticized it. 2 of these are from Muslims who criticized it from the Islamic side because he claimed to be Muslim for a while. One's from a Hebrew Israelite and the other one's from a reporter. So there's a lot of good books, and I encourage people to look into these, and they should, because look at that quote on the screen. You guys see that quote on the screen? This is what he says. So it's like, man, follow your own advice, follow your own medicine. That's what I'm talking about, because he says to do things, but then I feel like his followers aren't doing them. Well, why is that, man? We got to get on the ball here. We got to get with this. We got to do what York said to do, don't we? So there's problems here. And when you look at some of York's last teachings, what did he do? He got into Jesus. He got into Jesus. This is an audio I encourage every single person to go listen to, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, where York started pushing Jesus. He started pushing Jesus, and it's a very fascinating thing to behold. And I don't feel like a lot of his followers have accurately dealt with this reality of York pushing Jesus. They need to hear this audio. But here's some imagery to prove it. Towards the end, here's the imagery he was putting out. The Holy Seed Baptist Church, Inc. You know, when they caught him, his license plate said pastor. The Egyptian Church of Christ Incorporated. Reverend Dr. Malachi York, the Holy Seed Baptist Church, and the Amen Institute and Educational Center, with a picture of Jesus, supposedly. Prepare for the arrival of Christ, it says. Well, with all that, I'm going to wish you a peaceful retirement from debating, Brother KHONSU. Because I know you're going to need it, man. So I'm gonna show now some things. How much time do I have left there? How much time do I got left? Can you hear me, SaNeter? SaNeter.
I'm right here. What you saying? What you want?
I said how much time do I got left here?
All right, you got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. All right, I'm going to put something else up on the screen, and that's how I'll close it. You know what? Maybe I'll just do it from the PowerPoint. I'll just do it from the PowerPoint. Just give me a second here.
This slide right here. You want that slide?
Let me see here. No, it's not. It's not up there yet. So let me do it from the PowerPoint here. I'm gonna do it right here. All right. Okay. Here. I'm gonna share the PowerPoint. That's what I'm gonna do instead. Okay.
Okay.
Just 1 second. Here it goes. Share screen. It's hard because I'm switching from a few different things here. Okay, there we go. Can you see that?
Yes, I see that.
Okay.
2 minutes left. We'll start when you finish speaking.
All right, here we go. Now, this is from Biblical Archaeology Review, a great article called "Did Jesus Exist?" Jewish rabbis who did not like Jesus or his followers accused him of being a magician and leading people astray, but they never said he didn't exist. That's from Dr. Maitiuk. He's a professor emeritus from Purdue. And that's an important thing to notice. They never said that. And we have corroboration outside of the New Testament from historians. For example, Tacitus. I want to show you what Tacitus says, the sources on the screen, as well as one of the actual manuscripts. Here's what Tacitus, the Roman historian, said. The originator Christ had been executed in Tiberius's reign. And notice then it says under Pontius Pilate. And then look at in yellow, it says not just in Judea where the mischief had started. So this is fascinating. Notice all the facts he gets right that are corroborated in the New Testament. Christ is the founder of this. It was under the reign of Tiberius. Pontius Pilate was in charge, started in Judea. And then it says that they killed these Christians. Notice the name of the group here Tacitus is criticizing. And some were even crucified. Now, this is factual stuff where you have historians corroborating with the New Testament. Gary Habermas, I think, wrote the penultimate book on this called The Historical Jesus, sourced on the screen. And he says this: while some believe that we know almost nothing about Jesus from ancient non-New Testament sources, this is plainly not the case. Not only are there are many such sources, but Jesus is one of the persons of ancient history concerning whom we have a significant amount of quality data. His is one of the most mentioned and most substantiated lives in ancient times. Now, that's true. Unlike the Wiki Religions source that KHONSU brought up, if he read through the full article, one of the sources cited was the Brick Bible. I kid you not. Go to the article he brought up. Do you guys know what the Brick Bible is? The Brick Bible is a Bible constructed using Legos. It's a Lego Bible. I own one. One of the sources cited on the Wiki Religion, which is not an academic site, it's ran by atheists, as far as that page, because they're the ones who are cited. This is the Brick Bible, a Lego Bible. Here's a bunch of more people who mention Jesus. Take a screenshot of that, track them all down. These are non-New Testament mentions of the historical Jesus. We also have Lucian, who's a Greek satirist. What's that? Is that time? What's that noise?
Time.
Okay.
That's time.
All right.
You know what? Y'all should have requested 15 minutes apiece, because Vocab, you got a lot of information, and you're
right. I don't think KHONSU needs 15 minutes though. He just gets on there and rants.
Okay, you are welcome to come do a show if you want. Same with you, KHONSU. Both of y'all are welcome to come do your own presentation. If y'all really want to get a lot of this out, I think that would be great too, Vocab.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, yes. So right now, KHONSU, you are in your last and final round. And then we got the cross-examination interrogation, brother. I hope y'all ready for that. So let's go, KHONSU. Time will start when you start, brother.
I'm ready.
All right, I'm starting the clock.
So being that brother Vocab,
are you showing anything? You ain't showing nothing?
Yeah, let me share my screen too.
Yeah, come on, let's get it. Time ain't start yet.
Because this is not really this. If this was being judged by a panel of judges, he would lose. He's not sticking to the topic. So since he's not sticking to the topic, I'm just going to say.
Hold on. You can't talk until you get your presentation up.
Okay, got you.
That's free talking.
See it?
I got it. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Got you.
All right. So since he's talking about this is a slander party. This is not a debate. 2 rounds. He has not said not one thing. 3 rounds. He has not said not one thing about defending the factual basis or defending the validity, historical validity, scientific validity, whatever, of Christianity, of biblical Christianity, which is how he terms it. He has not done it. This is a slander campaign. So easily, this is what I do. He's a Johnny come lately. I've defeated Chuck. Chuck Morgan is so afraid of me. He'll come on when I'm on and say what he want to say, but he won't agree to sit there. At least I tip my hat to Vocab Malone for 2 things. For one, because he actually did it. But 2, because he's actually, like, if you question somebody like Chuck Morgan, he won't say what he believes or what he's into. He'll keep that hidden, so you can't attack him on that. You can't counterattack. At least Vocab Malone is admittingly a Christian and defending Christianity. So I tip my hat for that. But everything he said, all the quotes, the extraterrestrial quotes, all the slander quotes, can easily be debunked if you go to what is called unbiased sources. Unbiased sources. This is a book called Nuwaubian Pan-Africanism. I know Vocab Malone don't know about this neither. He's a Johnny come lately. I'm the leading authority on this. I helped write the book Lightning from the East. That's my name at the top. That's my interview in the beginning. I helped do the main marketing and promotion. We have all Malachi York case file of his case. The sealed transcripts, we have it all. We put out the most extensive body of work on Malachi York's life, history, case, teachings, everything. But before we get to that, this is by Emeka C. Anadosia, African. And the book examines, it says, the book examines the contemporary operational and theoretical parameters of Pan-Africanism and Black nationalism in the post-civil rights era. It uses the Nuwaubian movement as a case study to explore this essential strand in African diaspora, history, culture, and tradition. I want to read something else. The reviews. We go to the reviews. This is from Morgan State University and Albright College. This is not rinky-dink Chuck Morgan, rinky-dink Vocab Malone, and all the other Dr. York haters. These are from real people, real scholars, real schools. In Nuwaubian Pan-Africanism, Back to Our Root, Emeka C. Anadosi grapples with the thought process of a controversial and troubling figure, Malachi York, founder and leader of the Nuwaubian nation. While the Nuwaubian nation has been described as a cult, and York, who is currently serving a life prison term, as a con man, Anadosi takes an anthropological approach, producing a deep and thoughtful analysis of York's extensive writings. This book provides new insight into grassroots Black nationalism that, whatever the truth about its subject misdeeds, gives useful, sometimes disturbing insight into how one group incorporated aspects of nationalist thought into their dream of creating a new African rural Georgia. That's Lauren Pinsky, Morgan State. Cami Fletcher says, a lesser-known Black nationalist group that was founded in the 1960s, exploring its historical development and strides to heal the collective Black community through the lens of intellectual history, greatly pushing our understanding of Black nationalism and Black. This is positive publicity from Black people. Vocab Malone does not associate with Nubian melanated people. So number one, his whole approach is based on racism. He goes to the Nuwaubians and tell them they're not the ancient Egyptians. They're the slaves. They're the Nubians. He goes to the Hebrew Israelites and tell them, you're not a Hebrew Israelite. The real Hebrew Israelites is white. Look at his agenda. Now, here's another good one. Don't listen to the bullcrap slander. Go to the real studies of the history. The Nuwaubian Nation, Black Spirituality and State Control by Susan Palmer. Okay. This is on Amazon. Okay. The Nuwaubian Nation takes the read on the journey into an African-American spiritual movement. The United Nuwaubian Nation has changed shape since its inceptions in the 70s, transforming from a Black Hebrew mystery school into a Muslim. That's not true, but nevertheless, the point is it gives a more unbiased analysis of what this is all about. Dr. York and the Nuwaubian Nation and the Nuwaubian teachers, not the biased racist view that Vocab Malone is given. And here is the top dog of them all. This is it right here, people. If y'all want the truth on Malachi York, Amazon.com, Lightning from the East, the rise and incline of Dr. Malachi York. Look at whose name is on that top left corner. Exclusive interview by KHONSU Amun Minray, that is I, and Brother Adafa Tahaka Nicole L. All the people that helped contribute to it. But I was the number one of pushing the marketing and promotion. This book, let's read it. It says, in the light of ongoing events surrounding the imprisoned Nuwaubian leader, Dr. Malachi Z. York, as well as the continued campaign of slander, misinformation, Vocab Malone, character assassination, Chuck Morgan, against him, such as the recent slanderous and historically inaccurate People magazine, we also debunk that. We debunk that as well. And we go into the true identity of Afro Uno, the Noonie Boos. We have a whole chapter in there on Chuck Morgan. And we might do a revised edition and put Vocab in the book too. Since he want to be famous, we will help make you more famous, my brother. Oh, no, let me stop saying my brother, my guy. So we're not here to play games. You see, I can even get back into. So that's for everybody. That's what y'all need to know and realize. That is where you need to go to get to the real information, the unbiased information. Let's talk about Nuwaubu. Let's get back to the topic because I'm a real debater. I'm going to get back to the topic. I just did that just because he did that. I'm going to offset that negative publicity. Lightning from the East, Nuwaubian Pan-Africanism, and the Nuwaubian Nation, all on Amazon. Other books too, Malachi and I, by Dr. Kareem Ellis, a person who lived and grew up on the land, his personal accounts. Mysteries Behind Closed Doors, which is a documentary on YouTube. Live interviews with Dr. Yours. Come on, man. You messing with KHONSU, man. But anyway, so let's get back to this nonsense called the Bible. The Bible is crap, right? We all know that. Everybody on this panel, probably everybody on this show that watches this show knows that. I don't have to get too deep into that. So the question is, well, what is the Nuwaubians' holy scripture? At one point in time, it was the Holy Tablets. The Holy Tablets is now outdated. The one thing about Dr. York, his teachers, people say he's confused, but he's not. His teachers continually elevate. He said, Yoruba and Nuwaubu have no connection. Go to my page. You should have went to, Vocab Malone should have went to my page first, seen all the information I got, and I guarantee he wouldn't have done this. Because all he wanted to do was a slander campaign. But he don't know. I'm about to come so hard on you now, bro. I'm about to go hard, hard, hard. You would be exposed as the racist, Christian, fake Christian apologist. And, oh, yeah. Oh, it's going down now. Yeah, you done brought me out of retirement. But what are the books that the Nuwaubians accept as holy books? That's outside of the Holy Tablet. This is from the Nuwaubian prayer book, the Magaraj book. This is page 26.
1 minute.
All right. And this is page 26. Let me start right here. The Nuwaubian rites. What are the Nuwaubian rites? These are spiritual traditional rites as descendants of the ancient. We don't really call them Egyptians. Nubian is a new term. We refer to the ancient Nilotic or ancient Nile Valley civilization. That's just a way to sum it all up, because they, the Eurocentric people, the racist people like Vocab Malone, like to make the Egyptians look different, the Nubians look different, the Ethiopians look different, and paint these people white and these people red and these people blah, blah, blah. Our rites are called the peaceful rites, it says. We have confirmed existence in all of the Neteru. It gives a list of the 9 Ennead, the Egyptian deities, right? In the Nomos, the Elul, the heavenly beings, the spiritual essence, the Nomos, the beings that came from the water, the Anunnaki from the Sumerian aspect, and the Neteru from the Egyptian aspect, which is really one and the same. And it says, and in the records of the past, as recorded on tablets, papyrus, and walls, which birthed the scriptures, namely the holy tablets, not just the holy tablets, look, the sacred records of Tamaret, the book of the dead, the book of the Amduat, the book of the caverns, the book of the celestial cow, all the ancient Egyptian books we believe.
All right, family. Damn, man, we got through it. Powerful, powerful discussion. All right, we are up to the part now where y'all can cross-examine each other. Interrogation. So, Vocab, you are first to cross-examine, interrogate Brother KHONSU. Brother KHONSU, you have to answer all questions. And if the brother says, I'm good with it, because some people know how to spend time on the questions so his time can run out. But once Vocab said, I'm good, I want to move on, you got to move on. That's what interrogation is, cross-examination. Okay, the time will start, Vocab, when you finish your first question.
All right. KHONSU, is York an extraterrestrial being?
No, he's a human being.
Okay. Who is Pickle Man?
I have no clue.
Do you believe that Gillman from the creature from the Black Lagoon is real?
I don't believe in anything because belief is ignorance and not a part of the science of Nuwaubu, as I showed earlier.
Is the predator creature a real creature?
I have no clue.
Who are the reptilians?
I have no clue.
Are you from Orion?
No, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Do you agree with York's policy of making husbands fill out a request form to have sex with their wives?
That was during the Ansar school. I mean, I can't say whether I agree or disagree with it. That would be a question to ask the brothers who had to go through that. But
if you were married, would you adhere to that policy so you could be by the master teacher?
I can't answer that question. That's based on skepticism. I don't know.
Would you allow York to have access to your significant other sexually if you lived in the community there, like he did with some of the other women who were already married?
No.
If York got out of prison somehow early, would you allow him to watch your children unattended?
Nope.
Why not?
I have no answer to that. My answer is no.
Okay. Do you agree with York's policy of making women fill out a request form to procure hygiene feminine products in the community?
Nope.
Do you agree with Polite's notion that even if 1,000 cases could be proved, you would still recognize York as the Most High?
No.
So he was wrong there?
Yeah.
Do you believe Jesus lived in a biosphere on Rizq?
No.
Do you believe that York is the man from planet Rizq?
I don't believe anything. You keep asking me, do I believe? Don't ask me nothing about belief.
Do you know that York is the man from planet Rizq?
I know he's a man from planet Earth.
Do you know that he's the man from planet Rizq?
I know he's a man from planet Earth who says he's channeled by extraterrestrial beings. Not that he's from there and came here on a spaceship. He says he's channeled by those beings like many other people say. Next question.
So then who is the man from planet Rizq?
I have no idea.
It's a book title. Haven't you read it?
I have no idea. That's my answer.
Have you read The Man from Planet Rizq?
Yes.
And you still have no idea?
Nope.
If York has a PhD, which is a terminal degree, why is he in a GED program in prison?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you believe that Jesus died at age 120 on the top of the Great Pyramid in Egypt? Or should I say, do you know that he died on top of the Great Pyramid in Egypt at age 120?
Listen. I don't accept the existence of any person or historical religious figure called Jesus.
Didn't you see the images in the book that I put on the screen?
It's a myth.
Then why does York have pictures of Jesus dying on a pyramid?
Because his point was to make, because during that time when good question. First, good question. Damn. Because during that time when he was teaching, he wanted to present the figures of the scriptures as Nubian beings or people from that region, or at least people of color. So that's the purpose for the pictures.
But the picture shows him on top of a pyramid waiting for a spacecraft.
What about it?
He has other pictures of him as a man of color. So if that's his goal, he doesn't need to have a picture also of him waiting for a spacecraft on top of a pyramid.
That's his personal theology. And that's what he expressed in his writings. And I'm going to show in his writings in Black Book Part 2 where he says, these scrolls are not the science of Nuwaubu itself.
Okay. Does York possess 76 trillion years worth of information?
I don't know. He said he did. I don't know.
Is York the wisest man on planet? Is York the wisest man on planet Earth like he said he was?
Huh?
Is York the wisest man on planet Earth like he said he was?
I can give you my opinion. I can say that I think he is one of the wisest men on planet Earth.
What are the 19 languages that York can speak?
I don't know that he can speak all of those languages, but I know that he has writings and scriptural revelations that were revealed in a lot of languages. I mean, you go from
what are the 19? You know what the 19 are?
Like I said, I don't know of any evidence that he can fluently speak 19 languages.
Okay, forget about speak. Let's just say no, that he can read and translate.
No.
Wait, do you have any evidence do you have any evidence that York is bilingual?
Oh, of course, videos. You want to see it?
What are the two languages?
Arabic and English.
Do you have any evidence that York is trilingual?
Yes, videos. You want to see it?
Do you have any evidence that York is? I've seen the videos. What he does is memorize phrases like a lot of Muslims do.
Whatever you want to make it up to be. I can show you. This is what Mark Lamont.
I'm the one asking questions. I'm the one asking questions.
And he refused to
tell me what are the languages?
I just answered that. I just answered. Don't ask me the same question twice.
You don't get to dictate, sir. KHONSU, you said York knew. You in your lecture. You said York knew. Please, he's interrupting me while I'm trying to ask a question.
My answer is no.
That's cutting into my time, KHONSU. Be a professional. I know. Hey, this is your last debate. Since you're retiring after this, make it worth it.
No is my answer.
What are
six? I don't know.
Okay, then will you stop when you stop when you lecture? Will you stop telling people he knew 19 languages?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, that's good. At least we're getting somewhere because in the lecture I heard you said 19. Okay,
because that's what he said in the beginning of his books.
Okay. Are you aware that Nuwaubianism or Nuwaubu was referred to as a religion in the Constitution? of Nuwaup? I read this last night on the show, 2 days ago on the show.
And the reason, good, great question. Then that's the only second good question you got. The reason it's stated as a religion in the Constitution is because it has to be restated in a religion in the Constitution in order for that to have legal basis. Because at that point in time, York was attempting to establish his nation as a sovereign nation, which had to have some tie to a religious basis to give it sovereignty over American laws. Like I said, you're talking to the right one. So that's why in that one part you can see it quoted as a religion.
Why do you believe?
I can show you 10 parts where it says Nuwaubu is not a religion.
Why do you follow Nuwaubu?
Why I don't follow anything. Dr. York said he doesn't have followers. I study the teachings of Nuwaubu because of its validity and factual validity. Because you haven't produced any evidence that Christianity is valid.
What's an example that Nuwaubu is factual? What's an example that Nuwaubu is factual?
How long is this question and answer period? He didn't answer
he can't take the heat. Look at this guy.
Answer 1,000 questions.
Bro, you're cutting into my time. This is this is the first time I've ever seen someone do this. He's cutting into my time. You're cutting into my time by trying to talk to SaNeter.
How much time does he have left?
This man pulled the fire alarm.
Hold on for a minute. I stopped your time. It's a 10-minute fire session. It's a 10-minute. We got 2 more minutes in this round. You gotta stay professional. Just answer the question. If you can't, let's move on. Go ahead. I stop your time. Time will begin after you finish this next question.
Great move, KHONSU.
Ran out.
Great move, KHONSU. Okay, so what about Nuwaubu's factual? What about I forgot that.
What about Nuwaubu is factual?
Yeah.
The basic premise of it. The basic premise of Nuwaubu is evidence, experience, and reason.
Okay.
Non-belief, non-faith. If you can't confirm it, you don't have to accept it. That's what Dr. York said himself in the video. He said, if you ain't never seen a flying saucer, I'm not telling you to believe in what I seen and other people that were with me seen. If you haven't seen it, you don't have to. It's okay. Why? Because Nuwaubu is not a belief system.
All right, here's the thing. Your teacher based his authority upon the idea that he was an extraterrestrial being, that he had 76 trillion years worth of knowledge. And that is what he based his authority on. And so you could try to discount the stuff regarding extraterrestrials, but it's part and parcel to his very authority claim. He claimed that he was sent here for the specific purpose of correction, because the aliens realized when he was born in 1945 that the atom bomb could destroy all of the world.
Time out. You got to turn on your camera, brother. All right. Come on, let's go. Go ahead.
This man is literally running. This is great, man.
All right, go ahead.
So his whole authority is based upon him being an extraterrestrial. You're acting like it doesn't matter. What was special about Dr. York's teaching then, if this is the case? What made him unique, KHONSU? What made him unique or different or special, KHONSU?
KHONSU, come on, KHONSU. You got to answer the question. You're killing this time. Unmute
Sorry,
yourself.
I was writing down what he was saying. Calm down. Calm down. Now, what is your question again? I was writing down what you were saying. I'm going to debunk that. What now?
Oh, my goodness. You're probably the slowest person I've debated.
Hey, you said he can't slander. He slandered me.
No slandering. No slandering.
You saw him. KHONSU, what made York different, special, or unique then?
What made him different, special, and unique as a person?
Mm-hmm.
Read the book Lightning from the East on Amazon right now. Matter of fact, we'll send you a free copy, Vocab. You already got it? All right, then.
I don't need.
So debunk it.
Okay, look, you're just cutting into my time with trash. Okay.
Debunk that book. You and Chuck Morgan, y'all together, maybe y'all can.
All right. KHONSU, that's it. Come on.
All right, KHONSU, you keep on saying Chuck Morgan is afraid of you. I know for a fact that Chuck Morgan, with all the facts and information and firsthand documents he has, plus he was in there longer than you, and he was actually there in real time. You know what I mean? Would you be willing to debate him on my platform or SaNeter's platform? Since you're saying he's afraid of you, if I can get him to debate you, will you do it?
Probably not on your platform, because you're just
okay. SaNeter's platform.
I do it on
SaNeter.
SaNeter. Yeah, I do it on SaNeter. Yeah.
You'll debate Chuck Morgan.
On SaNeter. I already challenged it. We in the book. You seen it? Stop playing.
Yeah, this
Debunk
book.
the book.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Debunk that.
You should be ashamed of this book because in this book you out victims.
He's a fan, y'all.
When you guys read this book,
that book, y'all, lightning from the east.
okay, please stop interrupting. When you read this book, it's actually a travesty of justice because they out victims here, people who are victims of sexual abuse, and they out them and put them on the stage.
My turn.
This book is a shameful piece of defense of criminals.
All right. Damn, man, that was
about to be fun.
That was an interrogation round right there, boy. Hey, KHONSU, he had you going in a little bit on that one. Let's see if you can return the favor. All right, you got 10 minutes, KHONSU, and you got him in the interrogation seat right now. Cross-examination, it's on you. You got 10 minutes. Time will start when your first question is finished.
You ready?
Yep.
Brother Vocab Malone, is the moon a light?
The moon reflects light.
Is the moon a light?
There's different ways to have light.
Yes or no?
One light is you don't have to produce light to be a light. One way to have light is to be reflective.
Is the moon a light?
The moon reflects.
Is the moon a light? Yes or no?
Yes, it acts as a light because it reflects light.
Stop. No. The moon is not a light. It's science, according to science.
Science. This guy wants to get into science.
The moon is a hold on, you can't interrupt me. The moon is a non-luminous body that reflects no light. It's not a light. So why in the Bible, in King James, Genesis 1:16, it says, and God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the nights. He also made the stars.
Yep, I know that. Yeah, and I've already heard you try to do this.
So the Bible.
Let me answer the question. You just asked me a question.
You interrupted me. The Bible is not factual because it calls the moon of light, but the moon is not light. It doesn't produce light. To reflect and produce is two different things.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, you ready for the next question? Okay. We're gonna see how smart you are.
So to answer the question, we know the moon's not a light, but we do know
why does the Bible say the moon is a light?
There's different ways. There's different ways. There's reflective light, and then there's light that's generated.
The moon is a light?
Because the moon acts as a light in the night sky, and the Bible uses what's called phenomenological language, and that's not a big deal. And if you notice, it refers to the sun as the greater light. And the reason it does that is because people like Egyptians would worship the sun. And so what it does is it gives it its proper place by not calling it the sun. So it's just saying this is a creation of God, as well as the moon. This is an old thing people try to prove, but if you look into it, you understand that the Hebrew use of light it doesn't have to be only self-generated. It can also be reflective. It's not a big deal. The only reason you're making it a big deal is because you don't have much to go on.
Thank you, Saul. Yeah. Thank you, Saul. Now, next question, because you just went all over the place. The point was, the Bible says the moon is a light. We know that the moon is not a freaking light. Therefore, it's not factual. Next question. Is the sun in motion or is it still?
The sun is in the center of our solar system.
Is the sun moving or is it still?
No, the sun does not move. We know that too.
The sun does not move?
No, we live in a heliocentric universe.
Hold on. You said the sun does not move?
Yeah, I already know where you're going. Okay. This is like real low level, bro. This is real low level.
Hold on, be quiet.
It's called phenomenological language.
Joshua 10:13 says, and the sun stood still, and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? Show the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down a whole day. It said the sun didn't set for a whole freaking day. Now, you telling me that that's factual?
Definitely, because we still use
let him.
Hey, now I got to be able to have some answer.
KHONSU, you got to let him answer.
Go ahead.
Okay, we still today. And would you please stop? What's wrong with you, man? Like, this is you're also weird, bro. All these nervous laughter. Just let me answer the question. All right. We still today in 2024 still use the same kind of language. That's why we say sunset and sunrise. this is from the perspective of the person on the earth. We still use this language. And so just like back then, it's called phenomenological language. What it means is from the vantage point of earth, the way things look. The Bible doesn't teach that the sun is actually moving. And you can even know that when you get all the way to Jesus' teaching. He talks about when there's going to be a return.
That's the question, man. No, you're going too far.
Yeah.
Stop.
He's going in one place it'll be dark, and another place it'll be light.
You teach him.
Just tell him you want to move on. That's all.
Move on. Let's move on. Next question. Are bats birds?
You really want to talk about bats?
Are bats birds? Yeah or nay?
No, the Bible uses different descriptions for these animals.
Stop. You said
the Bible uses different description for these animals.
You said no. Hold on. This is Leviticus 11, 13, 19. And these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination: the eagle, the ostrich, the osprey, the vulture, and the kite, the raven, owl, nighthawk, cuckoo, hawk, little owl, great owl, swan, eagle, stork, heron after her kind, lopping, and the bat. So the word of God says a bat is a fowl. So can you explain that?
Yep, easy. The classification system you're talking about was invented about 300 years ago, number one. So the Bible was written prior to modern scientific classifications, number one. Number two, if you would have done your due diligence, you would have looked at the Hebrew word there that's translated as bird, and see in Hebrew, it just means a creature with flying wings. That's what you should have done. It's not actually the best translation to say bird, because in Hebrew, it just simply means a creature with flying wings. That's all it means in Hebrew. So it doesn't have to be a bird. All you got to do is look it up in the Hebrew, and you'll see it means a creature with flying wings. That'll help you out.
It's on you, brother, to ask a question.
Next question. What race was Jesus Christ?
He was Israelite from the tribe of Judah.
What race? That's
human.
Not a race. Let me reiterate. Scientific racial theory.
Race is not a scientific classification.
Negroid.
That's not science.
Negroid.
That's not science.
Mongoloid. Caucasoid.
Why are you using modern European designations?
Let me ask my question. Whatever you want to call it. Hebrew Israelite is not a race. None of that's a race, brother. So what I'm asking you simply, we can keep it plain. Was he black? Was he white? Was he Asian? Was he Latino? What race was this person you call your Lord and Savior, who was supposedly born in Bethlehem? What was his race?
He was a descendant of Adam, which means he's part of the
not
human
race.
I'm going to answer the question. If you let me answer the question.
Okay.
This shows how you just don't know what you're talking about, because race is not a scientific category. And when you're saying Latino, that doesn't even exist in the first century. So this is just filled with silliness. It's just such rank amateur notions. He was a human. He was an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. The Bible never describes his physical appearance beyond a few meager things. We do know the part of the world he was from. So I can say, based upon percentages, he didn't look European. If you're asking that, but that's not based upon a biblical description. That's based upon other factors.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Are unicorns real?
I don't think unicorns are real in the King James Version. The King James Version. This is, oh my gosh. And the King James Version should have used a different word to translate the word there. You can't go to the Hebrew.
Do you speak Hebrew? Hold on. Do you speak Hebrew?
No, but I.
Okay, so how can you say?
There's two things. I've taken Hebrew classes, and I have software, and I do have friends who speak Hebrew.
You're saying that they should have used this word. You sound like authority. What word should they have used?
No, I'm saying it shouldn't say unicorn.
What should it say? That's what I'm asking you, smart guy. What word should they have used? You sound like authority on language. You saying they used the wrong word in the language. What's the freaking right word then?
Yeah, so it's definitely describing a real animal. No doubt about that.
What kind of
right?
animal?
It's describing a real animal.
What kind of animal?
Well, there's a couple of things it could be. It's a couple of things it could be. Some people would say it could be a rhinoceros, for example, but it's some type of single horn animal.
What's the Hebrew word for unicorn?
Well, there is no Hebrew word for unicorn because unicorn's not actually in the Bible.
What's the Greek word for unicorn?
Well, we're talking about what?
What's the Greek word for unicorn?
I don't know the Greek word for unicorn, but that we're talking about Old Testament. We're talking about Old Testament.
Okay, so what's the Hebrew word for unicorn?
So that's why you'll see translations.
What's the Hebrew word? Now you're Googling.
Well, the word we're talking about is
Hebrew, and you don't know Greek, but you have
the word we're talking about is Re'im.
Talk about language, and you don't know language.
The word we're talking about is Re'im.
The Bible mentions unicorns, and you say that they ain't real.
The word we're talking about.
Do you believe every word of the Bible is true?
Absolutely, yes.
So
doesn't mean every unicorns exist. It doesn't mean every
unicorns exist.
It doesn't mean every translation
you can have
is
the
right.
Floor. Prove it right now. You can do a presentation. Prove to me that unicorns exist right now.
I just told you in the beginning of your question, if you were listening, that unicorns don't exist. So
that means you don't believe every word of the Bible.
So when the Bible
mentions unicorns.
Okay, I hope you understand. There's a difference. There's a difference between. There's a difference between a translation and the original text.
Okay,
the Hebrew word is there, but the Hebrew word doesn't mean unicorn. The Hebrew word means some kind of one-horned animal.
You don't know Hebrew.
When they did the KJV, they put unicorn, but that doesn't mean that's what it's supposed to be.
Okay, well, what is it supposed to be?
Something like wild bull, buffalo, or the Arabic cognate, which is white antelope. One of those. There are certain words in the Hebrew Bible where we're not actually sure what the animal's trying to refer to. But
I have no further questions.
Oh, man.
All right. The rapid round is done. Now, let's get your closing remarks. When the brother come back, we waiting on him to come back. Y'all get 5 minutes in closing. Vocab, I would like for you to come back and do a presentation on this whenever you get time. When do you think you got time, brother? Next week sometime?
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. Like what day? Monday, Tuesday, or something?
Let me look. I don't know.
Okay. Where you at, KHONSU?
You said like a 5-minute closing because I could go.
No, I need him here so he can close out. It's only respectful.
I mean, he's not gonna. I don't mind. I don't want to make the audience wait. I don't mind starting my 5 minutes without him here, if that's all right.
Go ahead.
Because I feel bad for the audience and stuff like that. But I do appreciate the audience for being here and sticking around. And hopefully, there's parts where you enjoyed it and whatnot. If I could, I'm gonna share my screen now, please, and I'm gonna close out like this. All right. So when we go through and we look, we notice a few things here in this debate.
All right, you got 2 screens up. Which one you going with?
I got 2 screens up.
Hey, Sal, which round is this? What is this?
This is the closing round. You got the one with a book opening up.
Okay.
I'm doing the one that's the PowerPoint.
You got this one?
No, not that. That's a video. I'm trying to show the PowerPoint. Yeah, there you go. There we go.
All right.
Yeah.
You got 5 minutes in your closing round.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Ready?
Ready.
Yeah. All right. So when we go back and look, we notice there's all kinds of ahistorical, non-factual claims that York makes. And if you notice that KHONSU is not really he's not willing to stand by most of them. And he was incredibly evasive in the cross-examination because he knows the essence of a lot of questions, what I'm asking, but he didn't answer them directly. And I think when reviews of this debate are done, that'll come out, his dishonesty and evasiveness, honestly. Now, when we come back to the question of which is more factual, Christianity or Nuwaubianism, I want to end with some more reasons why you should understand Christianity as being factual. He made a silly statement that nobody thinks it's factual. It's just such a silly statement. It's rooted and grounded in history, and that's why every person should do diligence and look into it. And what you'll find is, not does just the New Testament give you solid evidence because it's all by eyewitnesses within the first century or those who interviewed eyewitnesses, but we have historical corroboration from written sources and archaeology. I left off with one I want to pick up on. It's one people don't talk about a lot. That's why I thought it was important. It's from a Greek satirical writer named Lucian of Samosata. And he wrote a book around 169, inspired by something that happened at the Greek games there, passing of Perignus. And here's what he said. Now, remember, he's mocking the Christians, but I want to show you what he says. Quote, "For having convinced themselves that they are going to be immortal and live forever." Pause right there real quick. Notice he even though he's making fun of it, he understands some of the basic of Christian doctrine that we will live forever. And our belief on that is based upon Jesus' resurrection. Understand? "The poor wretches despise death and most even willingly give themselves up." And that speaks to the fact that early Christians were martyrs at a large clip. People of Nuwaubianism have never been martyrs. The things that York got punished for, he deserved. Furthermore, their first lawgiver, so notice it refers to Jesus as a lawgiver. That's fascinating, and that's accurate, by the way, persuaded them that they are all brothers of one another. That's beautiful because that shows the communal nature of Christianity. From black to white, whatever color, ethnicity, language, tribe you want to imagine, even people making fun of Christianity recognize that we understand we're brothers and sisters of the same tribe, in a manner of speaking, the tribe of Christ. After they have transgressed once for all by denying the Greek gods, and that includes the Roman and the Egypt gods too, and by worshiping that crucified sophist himself and living according to his laws. Now, again, he's making fun of Christians, but notice the historical reality that's touched upon here. One is Christians denied the Greco-Roman myths and the pagans. KHONSU's still holding on to them because of his teacher, but we deny them, and instead we worship one who was sacrificed for our sins, not one who committed sins against us. We worship one who gave himself, his very life, on our behalf, not one who took from us. Such a radical difference from Jesus, from any other pretender. And then we live according to his ethics, which are the absolute highest. Now, I want to show you from the surviving Arabic manuscript of Josephus, a first century Jewish historian, what he says about Jesus. And this is absolutely fascinating here. Very important when we discuss the historical Jesus. Listen to this. "At this time, there was a wise man who was called Jesus, and his conduct was good. It was known to be virtuous." Now, imagine if Josephus was writing a century account of New York in the 20th century, and he included York in his book. Would York be described this way, having good, virtuous conduct? I don't think so. "And many people from among the Jews and other nations became his disciples." Again, notice how it's international that way. "Pilate condemned him to be crucified to die, and those who had become his disciples did not abandon his discipleship." He's saying the movement continued to grow. "They reported," notice he doesn't believe in it, but he says they reported that he had appeared to them 3 days after his crucifixion and that he was alive. Accordingly, he was perhaps the Messiah, concerning whom the prophets have recounted wonders. And in another place, he talks about James, and he says, James, the brother of the so-called Messiah. So that's in Antiquities 18. And it's fascinating that the Bible describes crucifixion. And yet it wasn't until years later that we got archaeological evidence about crucifixion victims. For example, the famous heel bone of Yohanan, where it's actually got the nail still attached into his foot. And a recent one that was discovered in Italy, that's in the back image. That's a skeleton. And this is also evidence of a crucifixion victim. There's great articles to read about this, and it aligns with what the New Testament describes. And that's important because a lot of times people had doubted the reality of the crucifixion even taking place, or that it was something common, all kinds of doubts. But archaeology has shown, no, the New Testament got it right, and York got it wrong. He said Jesus was crucified on top of a pyramid in Egypt, and then a spaceship came up and got him. And KHONSU just says, oh, that's not real. Jesus didn't exist. Well, York said he did, even though he got facts about his life incorrect. Not only that, and I mentioned this the other night, 2 days ago when we were on here, we had a very person who signed Jesus' death order, if you will, Pontius Pilate, and an inscription discovered in 1961 that talks about him. My point by showing this is when you have the Bible, you have something where you have the eyewitnesses' accounts right there themselves, plus you have oftentimes other writings from other sources outside the scripture that corroborate, and you have archaeological evidence. You don't have anything like this with the insane religion that is Nuwaubianism. The closest to archaeology that you have within Nuwaubianism is those broken down, beat up, cheap statues that are lying on the ground in Tamaray before they came and bulldozed them away. That's the closest you have to archaeology. But we have the high priest bone box as ossuary, the one mentioned in the New Testament. Says he died at 60 years old. These significant things that tie Christianity directly into history. And the crucifixion itself is something that is so backwards that you would know only if it really happened and the person conquered the grave, like the sources say, would you ever then say, that's our guy, that's our Messiah, because it was such a ludicrous notion that you would have a crucified Messiah. And yet we have graffito on plaster at a Roman slave school between 50 and 250 AD. On the right, you can see the etching, and on the left, you see a more clear presentation with the translation. It says, Alexamenos worships his God. And if you notice, it's Jesus with the head of a donkey, because they would mock Christians as being someone who worshiped donkeys, or an ass, they would like to say. And in another room of the same school, it says, Alexamenos is faithful. And scholars have pointed out that he is wearing slave attire. Now, this is fascinating. I want to end up with Tertullian, where Christians were faithful. And I do point out Tertullian was an African. I'll end it was on the screen.
All right, powerful closing, Vocab. Nepal got a debate coming up. I hope she was paying attention to that, because that was fire. That right there fits into Nepal debate right there, that end part. I like that. That fits into the end debate for Nepal. All right, my brother, let's go, KHONSU. Let's go, KHONSU. You got 5-6 minutes in this round. I gave Vocab 6 minutes.
All right.
You got 6 minutes, my brother.
So, all right, I'm ready.
You got anything you want to put up?
Let me put this up. I might as well put this up. Let me put this up real quick. Hold on. Oh yeah, right here. I'm gonna show this. I got some people I want to call out too, SaNeter, for some future debates.
All right, so you know what? Come to the after party, Vocab. Right after this, we're gonna have a question and answer for about a good hour and a half. An hour for the question and answers on YouTube, where everybody can see y'all.
Cool.
I'm gonna have
the link. I got a couple of people I want to call out to, SaNeter.
I'm gonna have the link. The link will be in the chat.
One of them.
All right, so let's go.
All right,
when you ready, let's go. KHONSU.
All right. Oh shit! Hold on. What in the hell is that playing? My bad. I had it playing. All right, let me share my screen real quick. Hold on. All right. So this is the 360 questions book, right? 360 questions as a Christian by Dr. York. And let me make sure this stop sharing. Here it goes. Because he said he talked about it, but he never showed it because he know not to show it. I mean, he done dagged himself already. That he should have just called this. He should have titled this something else.
All right, time starts.
Yeah, I'm ready. You see. Okay, so he should have titled this something else. All he's doing slander. He ain't doing nothing different than what Chuck Morgan already done did. He's just a white guy doing it in London or wherever the hell he at. It's another guy in London. I can't remember his name, but we already did a rebuttal to him. He's a black dude. He a light-skinned dude. Anyway, I'll look it up. But if you can get him on the show, he way bigger than Vocab Malone. You can get him on. I love to tear him to pieces too. But this is the book that Vocab Malone. You like that slick diss, didn't you, Vocab? Hey, this is the book that he mentioned that he never showed. 360 questions. Listen, people, everybody know. Even Dr. Reggie said this. He said the average Nuwaubian, and here's the problem. I will say this. I'm going to answer one of your questions, Vocab. The people who you've encountered, most of the people who Chuck Morgan encountered, most of the people who are representing, they call themselves Sabians these days. They don't even call themselves Nuwaubians anymore. You have to realize that the FBI COINTELPRO was infiltrated into this organization when Malachi York got kidnapped by the feds. So when this happened, it weakened, it cracking his system, because before that, when Dr. York was on the streets, you would have never in your wildest imaginations did what you're doing now, because you know you wouldn't have been able to do it. You wouldn't have been able to stand toe-to-toe with the man or any of his top teachers back then, top student teachers back then, who have left the organization and branched on into other areas like African traditional religions like Yoruba, Ifa, etc. So what happened was people like Chuck Morgan saw a crack in the organization, and they took advantage of that to try to penetrate the weak ones that was left after the FBI COINTELPRO had infiltrated the organization. And you, unfortunately, are just a Johnny-come-lately. And I don't know. You might be an agent. I don't know. But let's go ahead and continue this. This is the 360 questions to ask a Christian, right? And he tells you he's going up against the beast. He's debunking everything. The quote that Vocab Malone uses when Dr. York talking about Christians, Jesus, he was doing that to pull Christians in. That's it. He's a Mason. Masons wear many cloaks. He's a master Mason. So whatever school of thought he's teaching, he can blend in. He might say something just to draw in these people and throw these people off. You never know. But the truth is in the doctrine. See, Malachi left a huge body of work. Huge body of work. So a person can easily access his knowledge, access his teachings. So this book here is basically based on questioning everything in the Bible, right? For instance, I even heard Vocab say this earlier in on another show. He said, Jesus is the Prince of Peace. But how is he the Prince of Peace when he said he comes to rule with a sword? How? When he said he didn't come to bring peace, he came with a sword. He questions and he'll say, Dr. York don't know this and Dr. York don't know that, but he won't never show it. Proof of work. You have to be able to show something, debunk. That's why I was telling you. When you told me the unicorn is the wrong translations, I'm telling you, okay, show me. You can't do it because you talk real good and real fast. You're a freestyler and a style stealer and a culture vulture like Eminem. You the Eminem of the conscious community. But I think you might, we ain't gonna get into that. But here is in Dr. York's book, him proving his knowledge of language. I mean, crazy ass Mark Lamont Hill said he was gonna pay $10,000 if we could prove that Dr. York could speak Arabic. Matter of fact, let me show that. I'm gonna close with that. I'm gonna close with Dr. York not only speaking Arabic fluently, but teaching Arabic fluently. Because this is a joke. This is the worst debate ever. But Saab, we definitely got to get back in here and get we got to get Smash Rockwell. Let me show that. This is a real good debunk right here. Ooh, 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 ooh. I found something. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This is old school. Tamahu. Remember when Ankh and Chuck Morgan and Rick Wu-Jow and all them were talking about Dr. York is pseudo, Tamahu was made up, and they questioning Jabari about Tamahu. Jabari can't explain Tamahu, right? Nobody can explain it, but boom, here comes KHONSU. Here comes KHONSU. Was Dr. York wrong when he translated Tamahu? Let's look at the actual hieroglyphic dictionary, people. Look at this vocab. You have the word Tama. This is from Wallace Budge Dictionary, Hieroglyphic Dictionary. The word Tamu means all people, mankind, mortals, men. And the word Hua, both of these at the very bottom, foul, beastly. So the Tamahua were the beastly foul men, the beastly people. And look at where we quote from York's book, the Tamahu, and also Patuta. Tamahu meaning living filth. Living filth translates and correlates perfectly with foul or beastly, foul or filthy people, which is who and what the Tamahu are. Foul, beastly, liars, enslavers, just the worst of the worst. So he wasn't wrong. He was right.
All right, man. I want to thank both debaters. Thank y'all for coming through today. Right now, we're going to have the after show for people to come in. Y'all can also present slides if you want. It's still the same thing, is to respect each other when you're talking. This one is different. Now you're going to have to respect each other when you talk, because I could put you on mute now and y'all can't speak over the other one. So we're going to end this show right here, and then we're going right over to the Coliseum, Debate Coliseum. The link will be in the chat. Let me see. Stay right there, y'all. Drop that link, the debate, HOK Debate Coliseum. Peace and Black Power. Nepal, you want to say something before we go? Miss Shada.
You hear me?
I can hear you.
Thank you, KHONSU. Thank you, Vocab. We'll see you guys on the after show.
All right. Thank y'all. We out of here, and we're going right now.